Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to lesson number 4. Lesson 4 is all about portraits. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail about that in just a while. You may know, but we built the UK's only portrait truck in the first lockdown. Big purple truck, and especially to take portraits of people of headshots and pet portraits and family portraits. But we're going to go into a little bit of detail and explain to you guys about everything we know all about portraits and how to get better photos for you. But before we do that, let's have a little look at some of the entries that we got through from last week's competition. Last week's competition was all about lighting and exposure. And if you remember, we asked you to send us through your favourite bright picture or dark picture and show us what you thought, and so we could see all about lighting. So let's go and have a little look at some of them now. So first up, we've got Katie, who's 12 today. Katie's been getting super creative and using the rule of thirds and the lighting that we've been teaching the last few weeks. Katie, these are brilliant, really good. You see, you got yourself a new toy to play with. I like that. That's fantastic. Next up, we've got Thomas. Thomas is 11. He's sent in a couple of pictures here that have really used the exposure well. We've got light and dark in this one that really shows it well. I think that looked great, black and white. William, who's 10. Great work, William. It's a solar system. Is that in your room, maybe? And finally, we've got George, who's only 7. George has really taken the light and dark and the exposure really well, mate. Fantastic job there, George. Great job. Brilliant. Wow, how good were some of them? Really good. You guys should be so proud of yourselves so far. Everyone's been getting involved and submitting stuff. We've seen some absolutely outstanding work. And hopefully up to this point, you've all learned something. Hopefully you've all got something that you're enjoying and you're understanding. You're making a little bit more sense about how the camera works or how the phone is working to take a picture. So what we're going to talk about now is not so much about the camera settings, but more about a genre, an area of photography that we specialise in. So portraits, what are they? Portrait is a picture of a person or of a pet, or it's something that involves taking a picture of something that has got a life in it. Now, we specialise in portraits. That's what most of our business is. We specialise in school photography, we do family portraits. All of the stuff that we love doing involves people and pets. Now, sometimes that can be quite difficult because not everyone always wants their picture taken. You probably know someone. If you turn to one of your grown-ups right now and say, can we take your picture? I would expect them probably to turn and say, no, go and find someone else. And that's a battle we have every day. Some people don't like having their picture taken, but what we want to do is we want to just go through today with you a few ways that you can really help to get people to enjoy having their picture taken better. So, one of the things that comes up quite a lot from people, it doesn't matter how old they are, it doesn't matter if it's kids or grown-ups, is that they say, oh no, I don't like my picture because I've got a double chin. Now, this is a thing. If you sit here like this and you're all hunched up, yes, you do. But what you can do is if people sit up nice and straight, if they just pop their chin forward a tiny bit and chin down a touch, most of the time, it will help reduce that. So there's a top tip there. So rather than when people take their picture, don't be hunched up. Have their shoulders down, sit up nice and tall, and head forward a little bit, chin down. And magically, it really changes the way the picture looks. Another top tip is if you're taking someone's picture, someone's portrait, don't have them sitting straight on. Although I am today, that's not a problem. But if you're taking a portrait, if they're sideways, then actually that's a lot more flattering, okay? And remember, head forward, big smile. Now, words that you can use to make people smile. There's sometimes, some of the things we've heard people come out with, I can't really say on here because they're sometimes a little bit funny and a little bit rude. But if you want to get people to smile, a really top tip is get them to either relax. If you can get them to relax and laugh at something naturally, they are the best photographs that you'll get. They're the best portraits you'll take. But if you can't get them to laugh naturally, if they're really not very keen and they're not having it and they're not playing ball, if you ask them to say something that ends in ease, okay, so we might say strawberries, or we might say smarties, or we might say silly Billy, or cheeky monkey. There's lots of different words that you can use that will get people to say things. And also, another big top tip, if you ask them to say something, bogeys, often someone will do quite a big smile. Listen, anyone that doesn't smile at the word bogeys, come on, what's going on? Where's their fun? Where's their fun? So, we've also got another couple of tips as well that can really help you to take great portraits. When you're taking portraits of people, try not to have your phone or your camera down below, Okay, so at the moment, my camera is just above where my eyes are. What we want to try and do is make sure that when you're taking a picture, you're just above eye level. So you're looking down a tiny bit. Now that might mean either them sitting down, but sitting up straight, or that might mean you standing a little bit taller, so you might be standing a little bit higher on the stairs, or there might be a step that you can stand on. Or if you're using a phone, you can hold your phone up so that you can take your picture that way. So there's a few different ways that you can be just so you're slightly above the eye level of the people that you're photographing. Now, if you're photographing your pets, it's often a bit easier because hopefully you're all a bit bigger than your pets unless you own horses or dinosaurs. So what we want to try and do is get a nice picture of our pet with a really clean, plain background. Now, as you can see, I've got a really plain background behind me here. We've got a light on it that makes it go pink. But if you look, when you're taking your portrait pictures, at seeing the cleanest type of background that you can find, that really will help for you to get a lovely picture because you won't be really distracted. It won't be really messy. What you want to try and do is whoever's looking at that picture, especially the person who's in it when they see it, is that they want to have all their attention looking at that one person and looking at how great they look. And look, everybody can look great. I'm not having it that so many people say to us, I look terrible in pictures. Okay, that's only because you haven't been trained, you haven't been spoken to and shown the way to look better. So people don't want to say you could look better if. It's kind of not really spoken about like that. But our job is to make people look amazing and look as good as they can in pictures. So we want everyone to be comfortable with it because we really believe that everybody should have a lovely portrait of themselves and something that they can be proud of. If you're one of the people that don't like having your picture taken, then have a little think about why. Is it just because it feels a bit uncomfortable? Is it because it's not much fun? But also what I want you to think about is when people who love you see your picture, what do they think? Does it make them feel happy? Now, I've got 3 kids and I know that when I see pictures of my kids, it makes me really happy, even when they're being a bit cheeky and a bit messing around. But as grown-ups, as parents, we love seeing pictures of our kids, of our family, of our husbands and wives and friends. So really, we want everyone to enjoy having a portrait picture taken and be proud of having pictures that you've got. The final thing we're going to talk about, and we touched on it a little bit previously, is the 2 bits from episode 1 and 2, lesson 1 and 2, landscape or portrait. Okay, so have a think about how you're taking the picture. Are you going to do it as a portrait or are you going to do it as landscape? Now the clue is normally is in the name that you would do it as a portrait because that's generally how people are. But you can look to do something a little bit different. You can zoom in, you can do different angles. Lovely thing about photography, there aren't any set rules, okay? You can do whatever you want to do, and especially if you're only photographing on a phone or on a tablet or on a digital camera, it doesn't cost you any more money to take more pictures, okay? So have a go, get involved and enjoy it. And our final thing is episode 2, lesson number 2, was all about lighting. Make sure that you get the nicest possible lighting on whoever you're photographing. So if you're photographing outside or if you're inside, have a little look at how the light is hitting their face or how the light is hitting your dog's or cat's face and make sure that you can see everyone. Because if they're turned right away from the light, it'll be really shadowy, okay, and it'll make people look like they're really tired with big shopping bags under their eyes and big chins and all the other stuff. But what we want to do is turn people towards the light and make sure that it's as big a light source as possible. So that big ball of fire in the sky, that big sun, is absolutely perfect as a source of light, especially at this time of year where it's not too bright. So if you can go out on a cloudy day and you've got the big sun, it makes one huge, great, big, flat piece of light, and it doesn't create great big shadows underneath people's chins and under their eyes. So have a little think about it. This week's competition, here we go. This week's competition and challenge is I want you to take a portrait of one person and of one animal that you are really proud of. Okay, so think about the tips, maybe go back and rewatch this and have a little think about the tips. But we want you to take a picture of an animal and a picture of a person that you are really proud of. Send them in to us, send it to competition@happydaysphoto.co.uk. Click the link below the video and just click submit and send them over, and we'll get to see some lovely portraits. So we want to have a look at some of the backgrounds. We want to look at, you can think about doing them in black and white on the phone, so you can change it, you can edit it to black and white on the phone. What we don't want to see is, we don't want to see filters with dog ears and dog noses. We want to see all of your people and maybe some self-portraits of everyone looking brilliant. So have fun, get out there, make some friends, tell people how good they look, and let's get some lovely portraits taken this week. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.